Okay, so hello and welcome to hopefully what will be a short video on how to create a stencil. This is obviously relating to our lantern project. This is my motif that I created, and this is actually already a stencil. And I just want to show you how I actually turned my final design idea into a stencil. We discussed this in a previous video, but what I've done first of all is I decided which colours would go in what order. So for example, we discussed you want lighter colours to be the first stencil because then you can obviously print on top of those. So I am going to do the yellow stencil first. So I've got these 4 leaf shapes, one in each corner, and then it's a little sunburst in the middle. Now the easiest thing is going to be the sunburst. So if I just take away, I've got 4 pieces of card here, A6 in size. If I take away 3, leave myself 1, easy breezy. The sunburst is the easier part, so I just have to literally draw that out however I want it to go. So I'm just doing this fairly rough. You obviously will spend far more time because that's nothing like that, but hey ho, this is just to show you what to do. The tricky thing is though, if you have patterns or shapes that are on the border of your stencil, when you then come to print this or tessellate it several times, so one next to the other, it's really important that you get them to match up wherever possible. So I know this is out ever so slightly, but these top 2, for example, they line up quite beautifully, whereas the bottom 2, there's a little bit of underlapping, shall we say. They don't quite line up. I know they're not going to be perfect, but it would just be nice to line it up as much as humanly possible. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to use my ruler, and I'm going to decide that each of these shapes, these corner shapes here, I'm going to decide that they're going to be 2 centimeters into each corner. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to get my ruler, I'm going to put it at this corner. I'm going to mark 2 centimeters. Actually, no. I'm going to go 2.5. I'm going to go 2.5. 2.5 centimeters. Make myself a little dot. I'm going to do that over here. 1, 2, 2.5. Make myself a little dot. And I'm going to do that in every corner on every side. So 2.5. 1, 2, 2.5. Hopefully you get the idea. I know some of you are sat there thinking, why don't you just time-lapse this bit so it fast forward? I am not that technologically savvy, or else I would happily have done so. 1, 2, and 5. Final 1. And plus, this is like the good old days, Blue Peter. You're probably too young to know what Blue Peter is, but in my day we had Blue Peter, 1, 2, 2.5, and it was awesome. So, or Art Attack if you're of that generation also, 1, 2, and 0.5. So Google Blue Peter and Art Attack, and you'll see how the other generations lived. Any hoozles, 2.5. So what that means now is as long as I draw those patterns and they start at those 2.5 marks here, they should, in theory, line up. 2.5, 2.5. In theory. And these don't really need to be absolutely perfect. You can rough these a little bit because A, you're going to cut them out anyway, and B, you're going to cut them out anyway and stencil over them, so it really doesn't matter. And in fact, I think I'd actually like them to come out. I'm going to change this one so it comes out a little bit more. But I'm not forgetting that 2.5 corner here. Perfect. And then when you've done that, you quite simply, using the correct and suitable tools, cut them out. So here's one I made earlier. Blue Peter moment. This is my stencil that I made earlier. I've cut out the corners, I've cut out the sunburst motif, and I'm going to label it A. And using my colouring pencil, I'm even going to remind myself it's yellow. That is the yellow colour. Brilliant. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to get another piece of card, A6 as well in size. And now this is going to be B. So I'm going to write B on it. B is green. Put green on it. Now, the green parts of my stencil, or my motif design, if we remind ourselves, oh no, wrong one, apologies, they go on the inside of this yellow sunburst. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to line it up so all the edges meet, and you want to do this very, very carefully. You need to take your time with this. I'm going to draw over my sunburst motifs that are on stencil A, and I just moved it. Pants, but you guys won't do that because you'll take your time. You can even tape it if you want to be that extra precise. I just couldn't find my tape. There we go. Right, so I know that these are going to be yellow, obviously, but I want to have this like green bit here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a smaller sunburst. I was just about to say, I'm going to draw a smaller sunburst on the inside, but I forgot something really important, and you're probably all shouting at the telly. I forgot I need to measure a distance from the inside so that when I then tessellate these, they match. So I'm going to go for 1 centimetre this time. I'm actually going to make it a little bit smaller. So 1 centimetre, and then 1 centimetre. Just going to get rid of that if it will let me. Oh, not very well. And then I'm going to draw my new sunburst, so it looks a little bit different to the original design, but that's okay. New sunburst there. Brilliant. And then all I would do there is I would then do the same in every corner. So for example, I'm going to go in 1 centimetre, make a little mark, 1 centimetre, make a little mark. And remember, we're doing this in every corner, or along the edge, sorry, so that it lines up, so that when we then come to tessellate it, it doesn't matter. It will be perfect and symmetrical and very pretty. From the, for example though, however, saying that, from the 1 centimetre mark, so I've done 1 centimetre there, 1 centimetre here. All of these don't actually have to be the same, as long as the start point is the same, as long as they're all a centimetre in. So for example, I could just do that, be really unique and have a different shape there for whatever reason. Actually, that's quite nice. I quite prefer that. It doesn't matter. It's these measurements in the corners, because this is where it's all going to line up and match up later on in life, which is why we're doing those measurements. But anyway, here's one I made earlier, because then all we have to do is cut them out. Huzzah! Boom. So yeah, hopefully you get the idea now. Oh, sorry. Hopefully you get the idea now. The idea is you replicate different parts of the stencil wherever you need to. So I've now got B. The other two pieces that I need are C, which is these light blue triangles, and then D, which is the middle squares. Here we go. So same again. This time I actually need stencil A, because the green, or stencil B, doesn't come into play anymore. None of these shapes correlate with those. So I'm just going to put it safely to one side so I don't lose it. I'm going to get my new piece of card. I'm going to call this one stencil C. And I'm going to get my pencil, C. I'm going to remind myself that it's blue. Now I'm going to draw the motif this time. Why the sunburst, sorry. Why am I drawing the sunburst? Why you might be asking. Why are you doing that? That seems madness. The reason being, so I know exactly where to place my lovely triangles for stencil C. So for example, I might place one here. I might place one here, 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 here. Now, I could be, gone a bit wrong, never mind. I could have been really, really brave. I could have placed these actually really close to the sunburst if I wanted to, because we can overlap these. So if you wanted to have some pieces that do actually completely overlap, so for example, I might decide that I want to be really creative and have a triangle that whoosh, cuts in there. Why not? Why not? Go for it. Gaudi was really brave. We should be brave as well. You can do those, because remember, we're going to let the paint dry before we then stencil on top. And then just like magic, if I can find it, we simply cut it out. C, blue. Yeah. and then it's ready for printing. And then again, just like magic, one I made earlier. This is stencil D, which would give me the squares inside that sun motif. So I've got A, which is actually back to front, it actually goes like that. I've got A, I've got B, I know you can't see it, then I've got C, and then I've got D, and when they're all printed together, what do they create? That masterpiece there. So there you go. That's how to create a stencil. I hope that was clear enough. Have a go, have fun.